Hello, Voyagers. Welcome to Men Metal Mayhem, the podcast where the Brothers Men take a deep dive into the discographies of our favorite metal bands. I'm your host, Brother Paul, joined as ever by my two brothers and co-hosts, Brother John
Hey yo, Daddy-o.
and Brother Dave.
Roger, Roger.
We are continuing with season 2.5 solos and side projects. Today, Brother John brings us his selection with Wintersun's 2004 debut album, Wintersun. Join us beyond the dark sun. As this is Brother John's pick, I am going to kick it over to him to explain his history with Wintersun and why he chose this album.
All right. Well, I can do that. So this album came out September 14th, 2004, which was almost exactly 21 years ago as we record this. If we would have waited to do this next week, it would be exactly 21 years ago. But anyways, I don't remember when I first heard these guys, but when I did, I think I fell in love because I like this band a lot. And so I don't know, maybe I should explain. I should have I should have researched my own history of when I listened to these guys and what else I had listened. So this is Jari Mayanpa. I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce his name, but he's the main guy behind this. And he at the time was the singer and guitarist in Ensiferum. And this band Wintersun was intended to be his solo project. But due to conflicts between his scheduled studio time for Wintersun and the desired touring schedule for Ensiferum, they basically kicked him out of Ensiferum. And that whole situation caused some drama and actually formed sort of the lyrical inspiration for at least one song in this album, Death and Healing. But was at the time his solo slash side project. He did all the instruments and vocals other than the drums, which were done by Kai Hato, who had been in the band Rotten Sound and went on to play in Swallow the Sun and Nightwish. And then later on, as Wintersun released some additional albums and continued as a band, it gained some actual like permanent members. But at the time, it was just his solo deal, and so I assumed that I must have probably heard Ensiferum first, and then got into these guys, but it may have been like not until like 2008 or so that I discovered either band. So it's possible that I kind of found out about them all at the same time. So I don't know. Anyways, this is, I guess, stylistically an extreme power metal with folk influences, I would say, as far as the genre, which is right up my alley. But as far as I'm aware, not something that either of you guys really listen to much at all. Or at least I think you had said neither of you had really heard or listened to this album or Winter Sun in general. So I'm kind of excited to dive in and hear what your thoughts are. And that's one thing I kind of like about these tail end episodes where we kind of pick a one off. It's an opportunity to dive into something that we enjoy and that the other boys haven't really listened to. So, get to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions with your fresh ears, hearing this maybe for the first time. And so, with that, shall we dive in?
Okay, well, released via Nuclear Blast Records, 8 tracks, just over 54 minutes, and it kicks off with track number 1, Beyond the Dark Sun. Brother John, why don't you give us your impressions?
Oh man, what an opener. This song is fast and awesome. They're laying some sick riffs and tasty licks on us essentially the whole time. I mean, for me, it's hard to pick just one, but pretty much right out of the gate at from like 16 seconds to 21 seconds, it has a pretty sick riff and tasty lick. Just like this awesome noodly guitar part that I really love right in that section. It kind of has all sorts of awesome epic stuff going on. At 53 seconds, you get some epic guitar slides. They do, I feel like they maybe even get a little lost in the background, but they add to the overall epicness of that section. And I don't know, this whole album in general, just the way it was recorded has a lot of layers of sound and instrumentation that all fits together really well. I feel like it's really well orchestrated. At a minute and 10 seconds, I think there's even like some harpsichord sounding stuff in the mix or something. So just a lot of different sort of sounds and instruments that fill it out. And it's just really great. I have nothing bad to say about it. So, Brother Dave, what did you think when you heard this? And was this the first time you really listened to this album?
Yeah, I think like I know the name Wintersun, but I don't think I've ever listened to this band. And this was like last week when I threw this on after you picked it. It was really the first time I think I'd ever heard anything by them. Um, it's a decent place to start though, right at the beginning. And I mean, the song launches right into it. It's a good intro. It's got kind of that sharp high to mid-range guitars without a whole lot of bass that's like indicative of the extreme power metal sound. Uh, my touch point for this genre is Children of Bodom, and this song doesn't do anything to make me think that this band is particularly different. But we're going to get into how this band is different in the coming songs. But like this song to me, it feels like it's well executed, but it's just extreme power metal. I don't get it right away, despite it being it's fine. Brother Paul.
Okay. I didn't expect to be playing King Solomon this early. So, okay, this is my first time hearing Winter Sun. Yeah, I knew the name. I probably vaguely knew the genre. Never heard a lick of them in my life. Um, and then I heard the first few notes of this song, and I immediately got onto the group chat and was like, yep, this sounds like a Brother John band. Because there are just certain styles that I associate with both of you and the extreme power folk that's very much Brother John's wheelhouse. I think that this is a great opener for this album. It grabs your attention. I hear what Brother Dave is saying, and that it's not breaking new ground necessarily in this genre, but I think it's a really well done song. I do love at the 122 mark he does it ooh and they go into the slightly chuggier, slightly slower section. You know, I love my Tom Warrior oohs. So
We
I
get a
like
lot
the
of them
yeah.
throughout this album.
Yes, we
There's
do.
a lot of good vocal stuff to enjoy here.
Absolutely. Like I got no issues with this song. Hearing it, I was like, this is good. All right, I'm in. And they must have liked this song too, because they made a video for it. So it is time for Video Killed the Power Folk Star. Brother John, talk to us about this video.
Yeah, I had never even known there was a video until you mentioned it on the chat, and I watched it, I think, only once, which was all that I really needed. I mean, I guess it's um, there's not much to this video. It's basically just the guys playing the music and playing it really fast. I got a real chuckle at a minute 50 when his face is superimposed over the moon, like a classic Three Wolf
Yes.
Moon mixed with a bad senior photo kind of style. I laughed out loud. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? But otherwise, it's just kind of showing off the speed of the song. And these guys playing really fast, as well as flashing some close-ups of their faces and his toothy grin. I mean, not toothy in a bad way, it's straight teeth, but there's just a lot of teeth I noticed in certain shots. But those are my takeaways. Not much to it, but it's a video. Brother Dave, what'd you think?
That's exactly what I thought. I mean, it's the band playing, and there are some goofy close-ups of his face.
The close-ups are great. He is the moon child, is all I could write. Oh, so let us close that segment and move on to track number 2, Winter Madness, Brother Dave.
So, first song I thought was a bit generic. Second song, I mean, it starts out with like an orchestral swell. We get some orchestral synthesizer stuff, which is a bit of a cheesy sound, but it's also like classic extreme power metal. So I'm not sure I can super fault them for that. But then they've got a long intro. At about a minute 30, we start getting some medieval flair, or sort of some folksy flair, and that piques my interest. The electric guitar joins in. We get some more orchestral stuff that really fills it out really well. And it's honestly like 2 minutes and 30 seconds of intro before the song proper starts here. And then that's just frantic blast beats, keeping that same kind of medieval melody, but there's a lot of like 5/4 and kind of medieval-ish weird time signatures thrown in. I'm liking this song. There's a lot going on. John mentioned they do a lot of layers, and there's just a ton of layers going on in this song. We get some like shredding going on around 3:40. We get a nice little noodling musical interlude around 5:20. They do more fun stuff with syncopation, and
So
that descends into, yeah, you go.
you said at 5:20. This song is only 5 minutes and 8 seconds.
I wondered about that, and I probably should have checked with you, because the YouTube version, which is their officially posted version, says intro and Winter Madness 2.0, and it is 7 minutes and 58 seconds long.
Interesting.
So I think the actual song starts at 2:35, and they've added like 2 minutes and 30 seconds of stuff onto the beginning. He likes a long intro, we will come to see.
Oh, we will.
So
I'll have to listen to that, because I only listened on Spotify, and it's 5 minutes and 6 seconds. So I don't know what this long intro is, but color me intrigued.
So yeah, it's a long intro that kind of shows off the more folksy elements that we will get to know as the album continues. By the end of the song, we're getting kind of we've had a lot of that folksy stuff. He does drift back into like neoclassical shredding, which is kind of par for the course for extreme power metal, but it's well done. I like this song. I think it's frantic, it's fast, but there's a lot of interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean,
Brother Paul.
without listening to it on Spotify, there's barely a pause from the previous track, and like we are still in it. It's just intense, like unrelenting. A lot of background, like oh-oh-oh-ohs.
Yeah, like some good chanting.
Good chanting, a lot of background chanting in this one. The section from like 107 to 120 is intense. It's got all these background singers, some insane drumming, and there's swelling orchestration. Got a pretty wild solo at 310. I think that this song could have been tightened up a bit. I think the last minute drags kind of once we exit the solo, they could have they didn't have to revisit some of those musical um motifs or sections. They could have just ended it pretty cleanly. Overall, it's a good song. Crazy that I thought that it was a little over long, and then they added 2.5 minutes
Well,
of
Paul, my comment
malarkey.
to that is hard disagree that they should have tightened it up because I think they did a great job exploring the epic space that they were working with, and I have no complaints. I do have a couple comments though. So at a minute 23, and they have the chorus a couple times, but that's maybe the first time they say it, where he's like, "Winter, the realm of eternal ice." He just has such a Finnish pronunciation for realm, the realm. It just made me laugh because I had really never read the lyrics along while I listened to this album, and so it was kind of fun to read some of those and be like, okay, yeah, kind of knew bits and pieces, but never really knew what he was saying at that part because he was just pronouncing it so silly, at least to my American ears, silly. But yeah, I think you guys pretty much hit on everything other than I just want to say there's basically like blast beats throughout, or the drumming is just so fast. I mean, I don't know if it's exactly a blast beat, but it almost made me think that our best boy Bastian Thusgaard was on drums, although he would have only been a little baby boy of about 12 when this came out, so it clearly wasn't him. But it's the sort of thing that would make him proud to listen to. But that's pretty much all that I have on this one.
Nice. Track number 3, Sleeping Stars. We are slowing it down a little bit with this one. At about 420, he has a line, "So please stay with me for a while." And he holds while for like 4 seconds while he's going up with it. And I think you guys know I love that kind of shit. So
Mhm.
love the outro on this one. The guitar and drums, they fade out, but then the orchestration fades in to finish it out. So I think that's clever. I like it. I like this song. It's longer than the last song, but I don't think it drags. So boom. Brother John.
Yeah, again, there's a lengthy intro, like for about a minute and a half, but then at the minute and a half mark, they do this cool pick scrape that just comes with some searing, pounding double bass to get the song going into like the main part. And they do a just a cool riff at that part that comes back throughout. And I really like that whole segment starting at about a minute and a half. Then yeah, 210, they get into that main melodic riff again with pummeling double kick. Just sounds so good. So, with the lengthy intro, it's a bit of a slow build, but this song does definitely get epic, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, I really like the slow build intro. I mean, it's almost 2 minutes in before we get vocals. And I think it works to set the mood, and then it comes in at the right time where I need something new. And then when those vocals do come in, we get those nice, like clean folk metal vocals, which I like. The kind of half shouted, half strong sung sort of thing. I like those. I like what he's doing vocally before he gets screamy. I'm I don't think I'm a huge fan of the extreme power metal shrieks that much. So I like it when he sticks with his clean range. We also get a ton of big chanted O's throughout this song, which seems kind of like a Wintersun hallmark. and will continue throughout the album. But I really like it. This is a good song. And my question at the beginning, we're slowing it down. Can we do Moody? Let's find out. The answer to that question is yes, we can. It's good.
Hmm.
Track number 4, midway through Battle Against Time. Brother John.
Well, we can't slow it down for too long because this one comes in hot with more blazing drums and riffs. And again, we get some more gang vocal chants with the oh-oh-oh-oohs, more folk metalish stuff. And I really do like sort of the blend of the folk elements, which aren't overpowering. Like I did listen to the first Ensiferum album. I don't know, that was either earlier today or yesterday. And I really like that album a lot too, but I just like this one a little bit more, just the way it blends the folk and extreme power metal stuff. So you don't kind of get too much folk and you don't get too much of either. It's a nice little mix of each. And this song, I will say I was reading some comments about it, and it's actually a autobiographical song about when Jari nearly died of tuberculosis, and I think he had to have a chunk of his lung removed or something. He's like felt like he was dying in a hospital bed or something like that. But yeah, the whole song just has sort of an epic kind of folk metal feel to it throughout. And especially I thought at 2 minutes and 48 seconds where he sings, watching to the night, the hope is gone, and on from there, that part starting at 2:48 was just pretty awesome. So I like this one quite a bit. Brother Paul,
Yeah,
tell us everything else that I missed.
It's a furious assault right out of the gate. More big oh-oh-ohs. We get a big slide at 157-ish with an ooh. So, man, combining two of my favorite things. And it breaks down to a nice groovy section at 230-ish. I feel like it gets a little repetitive, but as I was listening to it right before recording, yeah, the lyrics were really jumping out at me for the first time. I was really giving those. It's dark, It's a man thinking he's running out of time and possibly dying, and it's really reflected in those lyrics. So I like that. Yeah.
Um, I thought the song was fine. It it has kind of that classic fast power metal picking with a lot of pedal tone on it. And I feel like the keyboards stand out, have a take front stage for maybe the first time on this album in this song. Um, and then I also did like the watching to the night the hope is gone part. It gets really kind of like big and chanty at that part. Um, because largely I haven't felt like the lyrics have stood out here. They kind of blend into one big thing. But this vocal line stood out and seemed singable to me. Uh, kind of a nice vocal hook there. But musically, there wasn't a whole lot that was standing out to me. This song is, again, fine. It's well executed, but it didn't razzle my berries.
Never say that again. Okay. Track number 5, Death and the Healing. I enjoy the tone of the main riff on this one. I love the way it comes in. That said, the rest of the track is just kind of there, existing. Uh, and it has some, I wrote it has sea shanty vibes during the chorus. That's not the last time I used that descriptor either, but yeah, the solo at
Do you mean
five,
that in a bad way? Or, I mean, I feel like that could be a good thing.
it's,
I like this song a
Yeah,
lot,
I
but
mean,
I,
Ailstorm made an entire career off the sea shanty.
yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say it's not positive or negative, it just is. I mean, if you're in the mood for kind of a shanty-esque chorus where you can swing your arm with a tankard in the other, like great. The solo at 5 minutes is not for me. I do not care for the way that solo sounds at all. Brother
Oh,
Dave. Well, yeah,
Huh.
Brother Dave.
Uh, this one, it's slower, and it has a good melodic line through it. This one actually, that melody, kind of the main melody of this song, was stuck in my head almost all week. So they did something right. It's a bit more folksy, like they've definitely, in my mind, locked in that they are folk metal before they are extreme power metal here. Or at least that's the stuff that is really speaking to me of theirs, that kind of aspect. From my touchstones, they feel like if Children of Bodom and Borknagar had a love child, and that's definitely a good thing. I like both of those bands. Um, and I feel like these slower songs give more of that unique flavor of this band, kind of the space to come out and shine. Uh, this is a long song. Um, it's got some good parts. It's got a lot of different parts, right? It's got kind of an acoustic break in the middle. It's got a couple minutes of solos, and a lot of them are kind of riffing on that main melody. Um, but they tend to keep it interesting enough that I'm here for it. It only starts to get a little old around the 7 minute mark for me, and that's right when they decide to end it. So I feel like it's a good song. I like it. It's a bop.
yeah. Well, I agree. I feel like this one to me feels like a grand epic. Um, And, Paul, you had said you don't really like the solo at 5 minutes, but I think in my notes, anyways, I was kind of clocking that solo as starting at about 3 minutes and 45 seconds and going for about 2 minutes. And he kind of comes in and out of some different sections, but just kind of soloing and riffing for that whole time. And I really like that whole part, but yeah, it kind of does a few different things throughout that couple minute span. But then coming out of that goes back into another epic verse and chorus before finishing it out. Man, I don't know. I just love this song a lot. It has a lot of emotion in it and a very sort of catchy chorus with the time is the death and the healing. Take your last breath, 'cause death is deceiving. That sort of thing. Kind of sticks in my head too.
Now we
So
just
I
need
like this
like
one a lot.
we just need like 30 guys in a pub, tankards in the air, all swaying
Oh
around
man.
singing it.
If you boys would be there with me, well, we could drink some non-alcoholic beers anyways. I don't know if I'd start drinking again just for this song, but sounds like something fun to do.
Okay, track number 6, Star Child, Brother John.
Oh man, yet another epic, and I didn't really write down how long this one is, but it's certainly like almost 8 minutes, or maybe it's more than 8 minutes
Almost
long.
8.
Yeah, but another epic with raging, riffy guitars and a fun folk metal vibe to kick it off. And this song, it kind of walks us on a 5 part epic journey of awesomeness, which maybe we can get into as we dive into the lyrics. But If you read the lyrics, it's part one, Wanderer of Time, kind of starts at about 57 seconds. Part two, Burning Star, comes in at about 3 minutes 23. Part three, The Creation, at about 5:29. Part four, The Sea of Stars at 6:20. And then part five, the finale at 7 minutes and 8 seconds. And I guess I didn't make a ton of notes about the music, but this one just kind of brings us on an epic journey as you would expect from a five-part song talking about some epic tale of something that maybe we can talk about what we think it might be.
Yeah, I think we should talk about what it might be. But first, I feel like this song is the first one so far where they've merged the folk metal and the extreme power metal in a way that really works for me. I think it all comes together here. And this song, pretty good. This song also shows off sort of, I mean, I don't know enough about him to say that this is definitively his compositional style, but he seems to have a very linear composition. He like doesn't so much rely on verse chorus as a lot of other bands. So he'll like just start, and this one for sure, he's got five different parts and they come one after another, and there's not a whole lot of repetition. So it can be hard to find something to grab onto. It's like one big thing and it just kind of washes over you. And that's a cool compositional technique. At the same time, I feel like it's a harder compositional technique to get into as a listener. But I like almost everything that goes on this in this song, except part three, where we just get those really cheesy synth sounds. That are like super cheap MIDI orchestral hits, and they are terrible. But the rest is pretty good.
It does sound cheap.
Oh, I think I know exactly the part you're talking
Yeah.
about. It does, yeah. That is the one, like if I was gonna say one bad thing about the album, some of the synthy stuff does sound a little chintzy.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I still enjoy it, so I'm not gonna say anything bad about it because I still like that. But
It,
I know what you're saying.
his vision exceeded his budget. So,
Exactly.
yeah, no, we're right back into it on this one in terms of it being kind of a furious song. There's a transition to a really nice riff right at 30-ish seconds. But the main guitar riff during the verse just isn't doing it for me because it's very start stop almost. It's got a weird it's a weird patterny chug that feels like it will awkwardly pause somewhat. And I do not care for that. Brother Dave's sort of nodding like he knows a bit what I'm talking about. So,
I I don't remember it specifically in this song,
mhm.
but some of the riffs just the flow isn't quite there necessarily.
But vocally, he gets pretty unhinged with a line on the chorus with the tides of your life will take you away. I think he goes kind of up and gets a little unhinged,
Oh yeah.
which is nice.
And
Uh,
there's some real cool noodly guitar going on in the background at that
y-
part too,
yeah,
which is awesome.
yeah, and then we get lots of folk elements thrown in, but boy, shanties are back on the menu with verse number three. The I've hold the fire within myself. I don't know the years I've walked the coldest winds. Da, 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 da.
I've hold the fire within
Within
myself.
myself.
Years
Years
I've
I've
walked
walked
the
the
coldest
coldest
winds.
winds.
through the deserts of sand and snow. And I'm kind of losing how it goes.
Yeah.
The time is passing, and I know. Yeah, that part's pretty awesome. So I
I,
mean, count me in when it comes to a shanty. I'm here for it.
again, I don't know if I'd use the word awesome, but it's
It's
not
awesome.
bad. It's not awesome.
I
It's
It's
just
also
great.
I also feel like those are the only lyrical parts that stand out to me.
yes, that's true.
Yeah,
Uh,
they don't have a lot of like catchy hooks in these songs. They just
Mhm.
are layering awesome guitars and vocals and drums on us and little folk elements and some MIDI synth keyboards. So,
Shanties,
they're
layers
like,
of shanties.
yeah, washing us with a symphony of greatness that we just have to bask in.
Well, we have alluded to the lyrics of this song, so let us open up our segment, Lyrical Tactics, Vocal Gymnastics.
Lyrical tactics, vocal gymnastics.
Brother John.
All right. This is a pretty long one, so I'm not gonna like recite all of this stuff, but I basically see this as sort of a metaphor for Jari's life and creativity with the part one Wander of Time segment. It seems kind of like he's saying that his mind is full of boundless creativity that needs to be channeled somehow. And but then there's this line, it's like, let go of the stars that fell into the sea. Let go of your thoughts and dreams. What can you see now? And I kind of read that as being either it's self-doubt, maybe telling him that some of his creative endeavors have failed. Those would be the stars that fell into the sea. And he's like being told to give up on his thoughts and dreams and creativity. Or it could just be him talking to himself and saying not to dwell on creative ventures that didn't work out as planned and keep going and keep creating and let go of the things that fell off and didn't pan out. But it goes on and it just seems kind of like he's maybe talking about, well, so it's like, you cannot save them anymore, wanderer of time. It's too late now, creator of dimensions. Destroy the walls of time. Hands of the blind are holding your fate. Tides of life will take you away. Will take you away. Like you were saying before, uh, there are a lot of forces outside of himself that kind of dictate the success of his creativity, and these uncontrollable forces will dictate his life to some degree. But ultimately, it's like star child visions are born from the unknown force. And he basically realizes he must create. His dream only ends when the world ends. As long as he has life, he will pursue his dream. He can't let it all come to an end in the dark streams of the sea. Then it moves on to part two, Burning Star, which I feel like in this part, he's basically giving in to some of his darker, depressed nature, almost being overcome by the adversity of his life. But ultimately, he's channeling it into creativity and he's falling into infinity like a burning star. Something is dying, his life is difficult, and he's using that difficult time to, create this art to create something new, and something beautiful is born from that. So he falls like a burning star and creates a light for others to see. Then part three in the creation, he's reaching new heights of creation by allowing himself to embrace the tragedy and overcome adversity and turn it into something beautiful. Part four, the Sea of Stars. Ultimately, well, what does it say? It says, I will light up the sky to bring to a bright crimson nights, and they'll shine together forever. With brilliant silver colors, they'll shine forever. So he's creating a lasting bright vision that will shine forever. Essentially, his creative output is in the universe potentially forever and can remain timeless and will make the stars shine again and forever. And then the finale basically is transcending as a star child into a sea of stars rather than crashing down into the river and burning out. He's burning bright in the sky. It's something greater, created out of the tragedy and adversity of his life, no longer drowned in the dark streams of the sea. He's burning bright in a sea of stars. So it's obviously just tons of metaphors and things, but I just kind of see it like that as sort of a autobiographical thing, sort of about him being a creator, and maybe it's even about creating this album. What did you guys think?
Well, before we get into what we think, I think our friends over at songmeanings.com might have a couple of things to add here.
Oh, okay. I glanced at some of those. I guess I didn't really write down any of the song meanings comments. So regale us with whatever
I
you
mean,
thought was a good one.
a lot of them were kind of in the same vein about creativity and whatnot, and I largely agree. But our good friend TurboSpeed, who I
Oh
think we
no!
have
He's back!
Oh,
definitively
he's back,
said,
baby.
yeah, probably Bjorn Speed Strid from Soilwork. You know, 85% of the time it is him all the time. Says at the beginning of the song, they're either talking about somebody with a very powerful imagination or somebody with autism. And that is the comment. Downvoted twice.
Well, it is the either or
Uh,
thing, right?
Yeah,
Could never be this both.
couldn't be both. Yeah. But I mean, I that one I needed to get that out there because
Turbo speed, what are you talking about? Yeah.
but I largely agree with you. I think I saw it a little bit differently in that I didn't feel like part five was maybe as triumphant or positive as you seem to interpret it as. My kind of interpretation of the entire flow was that part one, Starchild is obviously a creative person. Is having some troubles being stuck in the past, but they have to kind of move through this feeling and they have to just keep creating because it's who they are. And in part two, I feel like it's maybe they're in a creative rut or something. They're not releasing music, but they still got this creativity and they're trying to get it out. Um, and part three is when the creativity starts flowing. They start creating and putting their stuff out in the world. And part four, they're like on top of the world. They got songs for days. And part five kind of feels almost like they're coming down to me, like they're heading back towards that rut. But the upside is they know that this is just the ebb and flow of the creative process. That's kind of how I read it, but I could completely admit if I'm wrong, if we had a definitive source. But that was kind of my take on it. I think it is about creativity overall, though. Brother
Yeah.
Paul?
Yeah, I agree. I see both of your kind of interpretations of part five. Yeah, I think it's a really interesting concept to write a song about creativity itself. I really like that. I mean, there were a couple of lines that really stood out to me. In part two, The Burning Star, he says, the time is passing and I know that I'm wasting my life, destroying my dreams. I'm diving into the bottomless sea. And just, y- you, I think we all feel that way at times, if we ever try to create anything or just in our personal lives, our work, and you're just like, God, it's all passing me by. It's all a waste of time. And that's something that's sort of a through line with this album, in addition to kind of the winter, which is prevalent in all the lyrics, but his awareness of time, and just feeling like it's running out, which I think probably has a large part to do with having tuberculosis and or maybe dying, coming close to death. So yeah, I think it's very clearly about creation and having that fire inside you and what you do with that. So,
And before we move on, there
oh
is
boy.
one last thing that I like about this, which is a classic Finnish-ism. Uh, million shapes and colors. Would have only been better if it was a million of shapes and colors.
Million of shapes for colors. Oh, track number seven, Beautiful Death. Brother Dave.
What do we got here? We got like a crackly intro. He's trying something new. It goes into some extreme screams, but with more folky music underneath it. Um, Following from this intro, we get some extreme chugging and blast beats. But again, kind of it's good, fast music, but there's not much for me to grab onto here. I don't This song doesn't like grab me. We got some nice sweeping during the solo. Uh, and then towards the end of the song, around 7 minutes, we've got kind of a quiet part with some operatic male vocals going on. There's a lot going on in this song, but I have trouble kind of parsing it and holding it in my head. And that's sort of a common issue I've had with this album.
Oh,
Brother
there's at
John?
least one line in this that sticks in my head that I always thought was sick as fuck, you could say. So the vocals, when they come in at a minute, well, first of all, that's the first verse, but it comes in pretty brutal. He's like, well, you should just cut this clip in so people can hear. But he's like, my face turned pale as the cold eyes of death, which is just a cool thing to say. And then shortly thereafter, he's like, I wasn't prepared for this because I'm not ready to die. It just kind of screams out that line always kind of stuck in my head. So I thought that was pretty memorable. But also, like Dave said, there's sort of this crackly intro, but then at 30 seconds, it hits us with this growled roar and a blasting riff. It's just fucking rad as hell. So I don't know. The way this one starts, I thought was pretty awesome. And then there's just cool stuff peppered in throughout. For example, there's at a minute 30, there's this awesome guitar squeal, and then just a little bit thereafter, there's this awesome pinch harmonic at a minute 40. So he's doing some cool stuff. So, Brother Paul, what did you think about this one? I feel like I'm a little more positive on it than Brother Dave, but that's been the through line for this whole album because I love this album. What were your thoughts, King Solomon?
At this point, I'm noticing I don't like his clean vocals. And have his clean vocals been present throughout this entire album and I'm just now noticing them?
I think so.
Uh, I don't know if he has it on every single song. I guess I wasn't really
I,
listening
I don't
closely
think
to
it's
figure
on
that
the
out.
first one,
Right.
but I think it kind of shows up throughout. Could just kind of like the
Just here and
the
there.
clean, sort of shouted, sort of sung ones, those ones.
Yeah, and
But some of it is more like the folky, like you're saying, like the shanty sort of
right. And it's
singing, which is a
on
little different. So he has maybe a couple different styles that he
yeah, so this is
uses.
like the full clean vocals he's doing, I think. I'm just like I don't I don't care for this at this point. It didn't hit me in the other songs, but here it was definitely like I don't need this. I don't want this. I don't like this. So this song has an extended outro, and I like the idea of the extended outro on this song, but I don't care for its execution. It's twiddly guitar over some soundscapey noise, orchestration. It doesn't land with me,
Hmm.
which is a
Uh,
bummer.
yeah, my note on the outro, it says it goes on for a minute and 20 seconds, but for a sprawling epic like this, it's justified. It all sounds good. So,
I mean,
you
maybe
know,
he
if you're
needed
listening to it as part of a whole sort of symphonic, orchestral, lengthy, epic endeavor, you just kind of bask in it and you don't nitpick it too much, Paul. You just got to enjoy it for what it is.
well, maybe he should have, paid for the premium version of whatever MIDI orchestra he was using rather than just the free
Yeah, he
download.
was using the the shareware Win MIDI.
Yeah.
Should have gotten a pay version for
I'm,
$5 or $10.
I'm not paying 25 kroner for for this add-on. Which brings us to the end of the album, track number 8, Sadness and Hate. Brother John, take us home.
Well, this is another long one. It's just over 10 minutes long. It starts with kind of a reverberating acoustic picking intro, moody and good. At 30 seconds, we get the drums and electric guitars, and you know it's going to be another epic one to close out the album. I like the riff here. It kind of evokes all the feelings from the album, stuff about winter, the stars, struggle, death, creation, and rebirth. Basically, it's an epic ballad. Um, and I think this might actually be my least favorite song on the album, but it's very long and it has a lot of different stuff. And by the time we get to 6 minutes and 45 seconds, that riff is really good. And I like that part of the song in particular, but I do feel like this one maybe drags a little bit. So maybe that's my one negative comment that I'll have, other than I agree with some of the stuff about the MIDI synths sounding chintzy in some of the songs. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is a good song. It's maybe not as memorable for me as some of the other ones on the album, but I still like it.
What?
You mentioned that it's like 10 minutes long, and I feel like 9 minutes. There's like about a 1 minute outro on this one. But the first 9 minutes, I feel like it's really kind of the same two or three riffs played a zillion different ways. And you're not here. Yeah, like you're here for the mood that it creates, not for necessarily the music itself. And like
Yeah, this
I
is
kind
this is
of
a
like
great
this song,
song
but
to have
it's
on when you're like doing work out in the woods, especially like in fall or winter, and the air is chill and you're just trying to get a vibe going.
yeah, like it's very much vibe based, and I feel like that's how a lot of their longer songs kind of trend, is that they're repetitive, but not in like a sing-songy way, except when it's a shanty. Uh, but it's repetitive in a it creates a mood sort of way that's great for being on in the background or as like work music or something like that. But there's not too much that stands out other than the really bad transition at 3:11 to me on this one, where it goes like they're playing and then they have like the acoustic thing that's like blah da 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 blah da da da, and then it goes into like just some other riff and it's like, what did this come from? Uh, but it's a weird song in that it's so long and so repetitive, but also not repetitive in a singable sort of way. Brother Paul?
So, you guys, what is the first noise that he makes at 126? It sounds like a fart noise.
I
Do you?
don't recall this at all. Should we pause so I can just play this for myself
Yes.
and see what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Hold on here. Let me just
Pause podcast.
Oh man, this is a sick ass riff though.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Right.
he's like,
What? Right?
it's just like kind of a growl, I think. I love
feel
that.
like he's constipated and he's just
Yeah.
trying to force it out.
I remember there. Oh God, there's a
Or,
Dimmu
you
song
know
that
what?
starts a similar
go ahead.
way.
Hmm. We'll have to, you should send me that one too. But maybe, it sounds like he might be venturing out into the woods in winter and maybe a bear approached and he had to make a menacing noise to scare the bear away. That's what you do with a bear, right? I've never faced a bear in the
Could
woods.
be.
Yeah. So again, I don't love the clean vocals that come in at the 5 minute mark, and the most I can say about this song is that it is long. Does not grab me. It is a long song, and I'm aware of that. The end.
Well, you gotta be in the mood for the vibe that the song is setting, I think is what it
I
really boils down to.
So here's the thing. I listen to a lot of vibes-based music, like post-metal especially, super vibes-based. Cult of Luna, yes. Really long, atmospheric, drawn-out songs that build and do something. This song is what Brother Dave was saying. It's three riffs played slightly differently for fucking 10 minutes, and there's not enough of a vibe. It doesn't create an atmosphere, I don't think. It
No, it did for me.
exists. There's a blandness to this one that doesn't land.
Yeah, in terms of this album, I think I would agree that this felt the blandest.
Yeah. So with that, let's kick it over to our resident rankings expert, Brother John.
Well, our final segment is Bop or Flop, where we decide, does the album slap or is it crap? We have honed our patented six-tier ranking system, going from six all the way down to one. We have the bops, and I guess maybe I should say a perfect six. Unassailable, This Is Metal Incarnate. This might be the only number that we need for this particular album, but just on the off chance that you boys have a different opinion, I'll regale the listeners with the rest of the rankings. We got a five, like to stand on that thing, a banger we could easily listen to again and again, a four, or that's doable, a very solid album worth checking out. And of course, there are the flops. I'll mention them just in case. Three, it lacks zazz. A two is just straight crap, and a one belongs in a garbage can. An album that's a disappointment to its father and the listener. Well, maybe it's just me, but for me, this is definitely an album. Well, like we were saying, there's certainly some vibes based stuff here and mood that it presents. But I feel like this is an album that should be listened to in the solitude of a wooded glade, deeply covered in snow at night, with the moon and stars shining, soft snow falling, utter silence, but for the music piercing through it all. Kind of like the album cover, although, well, if you look at it, it's, you know, that sort of a scene, but there's a guy struggling to survive as the snow covers him. So hopefully, as you listen to this in those conditions, you won't be laying on the ground, maybe dying. But basically,
I don't think he's struggling to survive.
No, he is
That dude's
frozen
frozen.
solid.
is he out? Yeah, I guess. Oh, for some reason I thought his arm was lifted up, but nope, it's not. He's just laying there. he, this guy sleeps in snow. But anyways, to me, this album, it's emotional, it's swelling, and it's just epic through and through. One of my favorites. In my notes here that I wrote down, I said I can't find any fault in it, but I guess we found a couple of faults in it. So, at the end of the day, I'm gonna give this a perfect six. Hail the gods of winter, baby. This song or this album is awesome. So I'm giving it a six. Brother Paul or Brother Dave, who wants to go next?
I mean, we always go in age order.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we do. Sorry, I woke up right before we started recording. I've not fully recovered, even though we've been at this for, whatever, 45 minutes to an hour.
Old man napping before he has to do something.
Yeah,
What?
it's truly. I was asleep in snow. All right, Brother Dave.
Yeah, this album, it was a mixed bag. There were some things I liked, there were some things I didn't so much like. The extreme power metal bits felt largely derivative to me, and I feel like it's been done better by other bands. I mean, it probably doesn't help that I really like Children of Bodom, and they're like top tier when it comes to extreme power metal. So it's gonna be hard to compare in my book. But that said, I think the folk influences are really good and they do grab my attention. The more they work that stuff in, the more I like it. Um, as I mentioned, and as we've kind of gone on about, the songs are less about kind of a traditional verse chorus structure. They lean into more linear storytelling, into creating a vibe, and that it doesn't rely on like catchy hooks. It relies on a lot of repetition and riffing off established ideas, but it's not it's not catchy in the same way as a lot of other music that we've been listening to on the pod has been catchy. And so like this sort of linear songwriting, it's something I theoretically enjoy, but I wasn't necessarily sold here. And I feel like I might have to sit with this band a little longer to like really get it. So am I glad I listened to this? Yes. Will I be revisiting this album? Probably not. But like earlier today, I did check out their most recent one called Time 2, I think, and I enjoyed it. It was a lot of the same kind of stuff, but I felt like the execution might have been a little better, a little more up my alley. So I do plan on giving these guys a listen uh, in the future. So where does that leave us overall? I think that this album, it's doable. It's a 4.5.
Outside of Children of Bodom, I've never been huge into the extreme power folk genre, but I think this album is doable, a straight four. It has a couple of bangers, but overall doesn't really distinguish itself to me. That said, I think this album is maybe representative of the genre, so it's definitely worth a listen. And if something on this album grabs you, I think you should dive deeper into those genres and explore this band more. I think Brother Dave used the word derivative.
Maybe a bit harsh.
I would say representative. So yeah, I'd say solid four. Give it a listen. Well, Voyagers, that's all for this week. Stay tuned for the next episode where Brother Dave presents us with his choice for solos and side projects, the Devin Townsend Project 2011 album, Deconstruction. Until then, may the metal be with you.
And
And
also
also with
with
you.
you.